Okay, now let's put the details in for the sidewalk and the road, because right now they just look like a whole bunch of confusing lines. So for the sidewalk, we're going to create those little slabs that sort of divide up the pieces of the sidewalk. So what you're going to do is line up your ruler, make sure that it's horizontal. And we know that as things get closer to the vanishing point, they should get smaller. So what we're going to do is make sure that the ruler is completely horizontal, and I'm going to draw a line in between my sidewalk on the left and my sidewalk edges on the right. And that's my first sidewalk slab. I'm going to just move up a little bit of a shorter distance than my first sidewalk slab because I'm getting closer to the vanishing point. So the slabs are actually going to get smaller. Okay, moving up. Of course, every time I move it, I'm using my eyes to make sure that I'm still parallel to the edge of my page, drawing that horizontal line. Our eyes tend to play tricks on us when we're drawing with perspective, so it's really important to keep checking that your ruler is parallel to the edge of your page or your horizon line or both. So you can see as I'm getting closer to my vanishing point, I'm starting to not move my ruler up as much, and that will just make sure that it looks like the sidewalk slabs are getting closer together, which is the whole point of perspective. That's how we know that there is a distance in our two-dimensional drawing. We've made it look 3D. So as I get closer to the vanishing point, these lines should get really close together. It's quite far away. At some point, you may not even be able to fit lines in between those little sidewalk lines because they're so narrow. Okay, I'm just moving up slightly for my last little slab. And there we have the slabs of our sidewalk. If you went over, you're welcome to go ahead and erase any little lines. The next step is to create a curb. So right now it looks like the sidewalk and the road are at the same height, but the sidewalk is usually a little bit higher. So what you're going to do is the exact same way you created your sidewalk. So line up your ruler. You can start with the right sidewalk. It doesn't matter which side you start with. Line up your ruler to the inside edge of your sidewalk and the vanishing point. So right along the edge of the road and the sidewalk. And just like we did with the sidewalk, just sort of angle your ruler a little bit, but make sure that you're still touching that vanishing point. And with just a little bit of space, a couple centimeters, go ahead and draw a line. And what that line does is it makes it look like the sidewalk is elevated. And go ahead and do the same thing on the opposite side. It's okay if they're not exactly the same. All right, so there I have my curbs. The final touch for the curbs is actually to continue the sidewalk slab along the curb. So on the sidewalk, we have completely horizontal lines. Those are our slabs. In order to continue them onto the curb, we actually have to turn our ruler completely vertical. So I'm just going to line up to the edge of where one of my sidewalk slabs ends, and I'm going to draw a totally vertical line in between my two curb lines. This is another time where our mind plays tricks on us. We always tend to turn the ruler on an angle. But for every single sidewalk slab, to continue it down the curb, it should be completely vertical. So I've practiced this many times. It's really important for you to take it slow, and for every single slab to double check that your ruler is vertical or parallel to the edge of your page. If your curb line was too thick, it might look like a really big step that you would have to take to get down to the road. So you may want to make it nice and thin. So there we have our curb lines. Let's just do one more step for this piece of our tutorial, and that's just the line in the center of the road. So you can do this two ways. One way would be, actually several ways. One way would just be to go to the center in between your two sidewalks and just draw a completely vertical line all the way down your page. So that could be one lane and another lane. You could also perhaps turn this into one of those sort of dotted lines or line segments that go up and down the road. So to do that, you would need to make little divisions in between sections here. So what I would do is just kind of estimate where I think the first line might be, and erase. And then keep going. So of course, as I move further along, those little lines in the sidewalk are getting shorter, and the gaps should also be getting narrower. And because I've drawn so hard, it's kind of hard to see that I've actually erased the in-between. So I'll just go over these a little bit so you can see a little better. Another reason why you should be drawing really light. Okay, like so. If you want to, you could actually almost turn these into bubble lines by just doing the same thing right next to it, and then closing off each of those lines with a horizontal line at the bottom and a horizontal line at the top. And then of course you'll need to go and erase, just like we did on the other side. You'll have to erase on the left side as well. And there we have our road and our sidewalk are finished.